What are the factors that will make 2023 difficult for global markets? Markets are prepared for a rough year ahead due to inflation, energy shortages, and overall instability. Welcome to CryptoLink channel. If you love getting news and updates about cryptocurrency, join our community by subscribing to our channel. You can tap the bell icon to never miss our new videos. If you enjoy our channel, kindly like and share it with your friends. November 13, 2022. Cointelegraph tweeted. If you think 2022 was a tough year, wait till you read what's to come. People who deliver warnings are rarely welcomed. Cassandra's warning to her fellow Trojans to avoid the Greeks and their wooden horse didn't help her situation. But it's crucial to look closely at economic reality given the tremendous instability that the financial markets are currently experiencing. Analysts agree that markets are facing significant challenges. In 2023, 1/3 of the global economy, according to the International Monetary Fund, will go into recession. Prices are high and escalating, there is a huge demand for energy, and emerging economies are recovering from the pandemic under uncertain circumstances. Given that there are no obvious options for investors in unpredictable conditions, there are 5 basic concerns that will cause difficulty for asset markets in 2023. These problems are interconnected. Trade-offs are a must in every choice. Shortage of net energy. Fossil fuel scarcity appear likely to last into the upcoming winter unless there are significant changes to the economic and geopolitical landscape. Sanctions connected to the conflict in Ukraine have reduced Russian supplies, while a blast that destroyed a portion of the Nord Stream 1 pipeline seriously damaged Europe's energy infrastructure. It is irreparable because constructing new infrastructure requires money and time, and because ESG regulations make it difficult for energy corporations to support significant fossil fuel projects. Meanwhile, after China recovers from its COVID-19 setback, the current robust demand will only intensify. Electric cars and renewable energy have seen record growth. Yet there are boundaries. Hard-to-find materials like lithium, chromium, cobalt, and aluminum are needed for renewable energy sources. Nuclear power would relieve the strain, however nuclear plants require years to come online, and gaining public approval can be challenging. Manufacturing industry reshoring. A desire to reshore production has been prompted in major economies by supply chain disruptions from the epidemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Despite the potential long-term benefits for domestic growth, reshoring requires funding, time, as well as the availability of trained employees. Since it drives up salaries for skilled employees and reduces corporate profit margins, the reshoring of employment from low-cost offshore sites will fuel inflation in high-income nations in the short to medium term. Changing to economies that are driven by commodities. The same disturbances that started the idea of reshoring have pushed nations to look for safer and more environmentally friendly raw material supply chains, either inside their own territories or those of allies. Essential rare earth mining has recently been outsourced to nations with cheap labor in abundance and low taxation policies. The supply of raw materials may have to be reconsidered when these processes relocate to countries with high taxes and high wages. This will increase exploration investment in several nations. It can lead to changing trade alliances in individuals who are unable to get commodities locally. These alliances are likely to reflect the geopolitical transition from a unipolar to multipolar global order. It will have an impact on U.S. accessibility to commodities that are now obtained from Asia, since many nations in the Asia-Pacific territory will be more inclined to favor China's agenda above that of U.S. Persistent inflation. These pressures make it unlikely that inflation will soon start to slow down. This poses a considerable issue for central banks, including their preferred method of price regulation or interest rates. The impact of higher cost of borrowing will be limited now that we are in a secular inflationary period with supply and demand imbalances brought on by the breakdown of globalization. In the past, inflationary cycles have stopped when prices reached an unaffordable level, causing a decline in demand. When it comes to luxuries like entertainment, this method is simple, but it becomes challenging when buying basics like food and electricity. There is no room to relieve upward pressure since firms and customers are forced to pay the increasing prices, especially because many governments subsidize consumer purchases of all these essentials, boosting the decentralization of important institutions and systems. Two elements are driving this fundamental change. First, conflict, strict monetary policy, and damaged supply networks caused a reconfiguration in the geopolitical global order. Second, a general decline in trust in organizations as a result of a disorganized reaction to COVID-19, poor economic conditions, and widespread misinformation. Nations that formerly looked to the United States as a moral authority and strong advocate of order are now doubting this alliance and attempting to fill the void with regional ties. In the meanwhile, institutional mistrust is rising. According to a Pew Research Center poll, Americans are becoming more and more distrustful of Congress, large business, healthcare systems, banks, and even to each other and other. This is a global issue, as seen by the increasing protests in countries like the Netherlands, Germany, France, and Canada, and others. The growth of far-right populist politicians has also been sparked by this frustration, most notably in Italy with Giorgia Meloni's election. It has also sparked a rising interest in other service access methods. The epidemic has seen a rise in homeschooling. Then there is Web3, developed as a rival to traditional platforms. Consider the Beef Project, which aims to connect customers with local ranchers through the efforts of the Bitcoin community. Waves of decentralization have historically followed times of intense centralization. Consider the division of the Roman Empire into regional fiefdoms, the simultaneous revolutions of both the 18th and early 19th centuries, and the emergence of antitrust laws in the West throughout the 20th century. Everyone witnessed the disintegration of massive structures into their individual components. The steady centralization phase then started all over again. Revolutionary innovations are accelerating today's change. Although the process is not new, it is disruptive for both markets and society. After all, markets depend on having the capability to predict results. This becomes more and more difficult to do when the fundamentals of consumer behavior are changing. Overall, these tendencies indicate an era in which only the cautious and wise investor will prosper. Therefore, buckle up and prepare for the journey. That's it for our today's video. So, what can you say about the news? Let us know about it in the comments section down below. Thanks for tuning in to CryptoLink. We are always excited to provide you with news and updates about cryptocurrency, and if you like this video, please click the like button. See you on the next one.